I decided to run Pindleskin, Eldritch and Shenk for 24 hours. I had an average runtime of 58 seconds, so in total I did 1489 runs. I found a few high runes and a lot of very good items. My gear for these runs was the Oculus with an Ist rune, Shaco with a perfect topaz, 27 resist Mares, Spirit Monarch, Viper Magi with a perfect topaz, 39 chances, perfect 30 magic find Nagel ring, my best in slot belt Arachnid mesh, Stone of Jordan, and 42 War Travelers. I also have a perfect Magic Find Guide, a 1429 Annihilus, a 1710 Torch, and a 71 Cold Sunder. I also have 3 Cold Skillers, 1 Cold Resist Grand Charm, and some small charms giving me Magic Find and Resists. That brings me to 350 Magic Find. As for my build, I am a Blizzard Frozen Orb Sorceress. Also, the drop rate shown on screen will be from the specific monster that dropped the item, and this is all done online on ladder. With that being said, let's get into it. On run 8, a monster next to Shank dropped a small charm that is extremely useful. Shimmering Small Charm of Dexterity, giving 5 all resist and 2 dexterity. This is a very good start. On run 39, Shank dropped the Pair of Gloves that give the highest amount of mana increase in the entire game. Frostburn, 40% mana increase is huge if you need mana. Then on run 61, Pindleskin dropped a very nice bow for Amazons, Gold Strike Arc. Unfortunately, it rolled with pretty mid stats. On run 109, Shank dropped a belt, again something for Amazons, but a bit better this time. Razor Tail, one of the best Amazon belts in the game. Then on run 146, Eldritch dropped a unique Sorceress weapon, and it's Escuta's Temper, but with only 1 to Sorceress skills, which is terrible. On run 163, Shank dropped a very good unique armor, especially for mercenaries, Guardian Angel, and with almost perfect 199 enhanced defense. Then 7 runs later on run 170, a monster near Eldritch dropped a pretty good Grand Charm, giving +1 to elemental skills, my first killer of these runs. On run 187, Pindleskin dropped the armor in the game that gives the highest amount of physical damage reduction, Shaft Stop. This is very good for Act 2 mercenaries. Then on run 196, Shank dropped a low-level unique belt that I have never seen before, Lenimo. Not useful at all, but still pretty cool to find. It has 1 out of 78,607 chances to drop from Shank. On run 223, a Defiled Warrior near Pindleskin dropped a very cool Grand Charm, another Skiller, giving +1 to martial arts for assassins, Skiller number 2. 5 runs later, on run 228, Pindleskin dropped a very good shield for casters until you get a Spirit Monarch. Lidless wall, but unfortunately it's F. On run 251, Pindleskin dropped one of the best loves in the game for physical characters, Laying of Hands, and it rolled with perfect defense of 87. Then on run 292, it was Shank's turn to drop a very good set item, G-Face, pretty much the best in slot helm for melee characters. On run 313, Shank dropped a unique armor that we already found before, Shaft Stop, again. Then on run 328, Pindleskin dropped very good javelins for Amazons and Throw Barbarians, Demon's Arc, but with minimum lifesteal of only 6. 3 runs later on run 331, Pindleskin dropped something else, Tarnhelm, with perfect 50 magic find. Nothing exceptional, but these magic find items are always cool to find, especially when they roll perfect. Then on run 344, Pindleskin dropped an assassin's weapon that I've never seen before, Fire Lizard's Talons. It rolled with perfect 270 enhanced damage, but the skills are almost the minimum rolls. On run 365, a very good Amazon weapon dropped from Eldritch, Eagle Horn. It has a drop rate of about 1 in 44,507 runs from Eldritch. Then on run 391, a unique Grand Charm dropped from Pindleskin. And yes, the zone is not terrorized, so it's a guide. My first guide of these runs. How much magic find will it be? Yes, 40 magic find. My first guide of these runs is perfect Meph. What an amazing find. On run 417, I found a unique weapon from a unique Demon Imp monster, Wizard Spike. That's the weapon that gives the highest amount of resist in the game, with a total of 300. Then on run 447, Eldritch dropped a set item helm that we found before, Guillaume's Face, again. On run 482, a Burning Dead Archer dropped an amazing Grand Charm, giving 1 to cold skills and 7 faster run walk. This is my third skiller of these runs and I will probably use it for a very long time. Then on run 518, Pindleskin dropped the helm that gives the highest amount of resist in the entire game, Kyra's Guardian, but with only 52 all resist out of 70. On run 543, Eldritch dropped a very cool low-level unique armor, Kroka. It's obviously not endgame at all, but the increased attack speed and 35 chances of open wounds make it a very nice low-level mercenary armor. Then on run 557, Shenk dropped unique javelins that I found before, Demon's Arc, but this time with 10% lifesteal. On run 566, a nice little rune dropped from a normal demon imp, a Mal rune. These demon imps have one chance out of 267,529 to drop a Mal rune, so I consider myself very lucky. But believe it or not, that's not all. 9 runs later, on run 575, I found this from Shenk. A Sur rune. A Mal rune and a Sur rune in 9 runs. This is absolutely unbelievable. Sur is the highest rune I found on ladder yet. It has 1 in 70,772 chances to drop from Shenk. Then on run 592, Shenk gave me another nice little gift, another unique Grand Charm. Yes, Geed, again. How much magic find will this one be? Well, only 29, but 15% reduced vendor prices, so it's a pretty cool gamble Geed. 7 runs later, on run 599, Eldritch dropped very good Amazon javelins, Thunderstroke, but unfortunately it rolled with very mid stats. Then 18 runs later, on run 617, Eldritch dropped other very good javelins, but this time, Titan's Revenge, with 9 lifesteal but pretty low enhanced damage. On run 647, Pindleskin dropped something very uncommon, a facet. What is it going to be? 4-5 lightning death facet. Pretty good. Then on run 696, I got a crazy low drop rate item. Unique boots dropping from a normal demon imp. The boots are water walk, and the drop rate from a random normal demon imp is about 1 in 2,922,360. I don't think that's gonna happen twice. On run 717, Shenk dropped a pretty good bow for Amazons, Lycander's Aim, and it rolled with 187 enhanced damage and perfect 8 mana steal. Then on run 732, a unique Slayer monster dropped a unique amulet that I've never seen before, the Rising Sun. I'm not sure, but I think that could be pretty good for Travinkles. Please let me know in the comments. 6 runs later, on run 738, Shenk dropped a unique armor that I always love to find, Ormus Robes, 14, 11, 14, and Ice Blast. I'm still looking for a Blizzard or Fireball one, maybe one day. On run 767, a Champion Slinger dropped a small charm and Shenk dropped a unique Ogre Axe. The small charm is pretty good, giving 6 to 12 fire damage and 10% fire resist. And the Ogre Axe is Bone Hoop, which can be a pretty good budget mercenary weapon. Level 16 Bone Spares deal about 150 damage. Then 3 runs later, on run 770, Shenk dropped a unique shield that I've never seen before, Headhunter's Glory, and it rolled with very good stats and even 3 sockets. This is the only unique shield in the game with 3 sockets, that has about 1 in 55,634 chances to drop from Shenk. On run 791, Eldritch dropped my favorite Act 2 mercenary weapon, the Reaper's Toll. It rolled with 14 lifesteal, which is pretty good, but unfortunately only 193 enhanced damage, which is almost the minimum roll. Then on run 809, Pindleskin dropped a very good sorceress weapon that we found before, Escuta's Temper, but this time with 3 to sorceress skills, 17, 11, and 23 energy. This one is at least decent. On run 833, I found another loot with a very low drop rate from a normal monster, an enslaved this time. Gold Wrap. This belt is nothing exceptional but still very useful. Then 6 runs later, on run 839, Pindleskin dropped a unique weapon that we found before, Wizard Spike. Again, this is nothing exceptional but can also be very useful. Then on the next run, 840, Shenk dropped a weapon that used to be one of the most sought after weapon in the game back in Lord of Destruction, a unique Phase Blade, Lightsaber. Nothing special anymore, but still gives me a good dose of nostalgia every time I see one. 5 runs later, on run 845, Shenk dropped set item gloves that we found before, Laying of Hands, but this time with minimum defense instead of maximum. Then on run 853, I found something extremely surprising from a normal monster. Again, a normal enslaved dropped a very rare set armor. And then Pindleskin dropped a unique belt. The set armor is Navina's Embrace. The normal enslaved monster has about 1 in 2,153,026 chances to drop it. Absolutely insane. And the belt is Razor Tail that we already found before. Then on run 905, a normal enslaved monster dropped something again. This time it's Thunderstroke, and it rolled almost perfect. 4 to javelin skills and 199 enhanced damage. I traded this a little bit later for 8 Ist runes. 8 runs later, on run 913, Pindleskin dropped something that I always love to see. Yes, a Geed. How much magic find will it roll this time? Yes, 40 again. The other stats are very low, but I could not care less about the gold. I found 3 geeds in these runs yet, and 2 of them with 40 magic find. Crazy luck. Then on run 970, Pindleskin dropped a very good bow that is very often underestimated. Witch Wild String. Amplified Damage Curse, Deadly Strike, 40 All Resist, 2 sockets. This bow is a lot more powerful than it seems. On run 979, Eldritch dropped a very good budget armor for summon necromancers. Strangled Scales. 40 faster run walk on an armor is very cool. Then 10 runs later on run 989, a defiled warrior monster dropped something else for necromancers. A grand charm giving 1 to summoning skills by Ford Skiller. On run 1051, Eldritch dropped a unique ring. What is it going to be? Well, only 23 Naggle ring. On run 1079, Eldritch dropped something again, a set armor that we also found before, Mavina's Embrace, always nice to find. Then 20 runs later, on run 1099, Pindleskin dropped a unique helm that I've never seen before, Demon Horn's Edge, but unfortunately it rolled with very mid stats. On run 1135, Shenk dropped the weapon that can get to the highest amount of enhanced damage in the entire game, Rune Master, but unfortunately it rolled with only 3 sockets. 2 runs later on run 1137, Pindleskin dropped a weapon that we got before, my favorite mercenary weapon, the Reaper Stole. It also rolled with 14 lifesteal, but a little bit more enhanced damage this time. Then on run 1149, Pindleskin dropped something again, this time a very good barbarian leveling weapon, the Meat Scraper. Increased attack speed, lifesteal, open wounds, magic find, all very useful for a low level barbarian. On run 1174, Shenk dropped a very nice unique ring. What is this one going to be? Well, Raven Frost with 20 dexterity, but unfortunately very low attack rating. Then the Bloody Foothills and the Frigid Highlands were terrorized, and on run 1179, a champion Blunderboard dropped a set belt for necromancers, Strangled Girth. On run 1221, still terrorized, Eldritch dropped a very good magic find weapon, Blade of Alibaba, with 2 Ist runes that can get to 159 magic find. Then 3 runs later, on run 1224, Pindleskin dropped something absolutely amazing. Yes, Shaco. After thousands of runs this ladder, this is my second Shaco. I already have it, but it's always very nice to find one. On run 1273, Eldritch dropped some unique thrown weapons that I've never seen before. Lacerator. The chances of open wounds, prevent monster heal, and the 33% chances to cast Amplify make this weapon extremely good for a throw barbarian. Then on run 1288, something very rare happened again. A normal slinger dropped a unique monarch. Yes, this is Storm Shield. That normal slinger had 1 in 2,585,227 chances of dropping a Storm Shield. Crazy luck. 3 runs later on run 1291, Pindleskin dropped something amazing. The best bow for Amazons, Wind Force. That was the most valuable item in Lord of Destruction before Rune Words. Running around the cow levels while spamming multi-shot with Wind Force felt amazing back then. Then on run 1340, a normal then slave mob dropped a unique Grand Charm, another Geed. But this time, 110-21, pretty much the worst possible roll. 7 runs later on run 1347, Pindleskin dropped something that I just found not too long ago. Yes, another Shaco, but well, at least it's a Shaco. Then on run 1356, Eldritch dropped a very good unique helm, Vampire Gaze, and it rolled almost perfect with 20 physical damage reduction, 15 magic damage reduction, 8 lifesteal, and 7 mana steal. This is a very valuable drop. On run 1388, I found a very good Grand Charm from a normal enslaved monster. 1 to combat skills for barbarians, my 5th skiller of these runs. 4 runs later on run 1392, Shenk dropped a nice magic find belt that I found before. Gold Wrap, again, always nice to find. Then on run 1458, a normal Burning Dead Archer dropped a small charm, and it's a simple but a very good one, 11 Lightning Resist. It would be much better with a second stat, but it's still very useful. And then 10 runs later on run 1468, Eldritch dropped a unique Divine Scepter, Hand of Blessed Light. I'm not sure if this is good for a specific paladin build, but it looks like it can have potential. And that's it. I found a lot of very cool stuff in these runs. 4 Geeds including 2 perfect ones, Wind Force, 2 Shakos, and a lot of charms. I think this is a very cool magic find route, especially on Battle.net because the maps never change. And there are so many mobs everywhere, so for the same amount of time, we get a lot more charms, gems, and items in general than with Mephisto and Andariel. I still prefer Andariel and Mephisto to get good uniques, but if you want to get a bunch of everything, I think this Eldritch Shenk Pindle route is much better. Special thanks to our channel members Shinui Zabusa and Tristan who are supporting the channel. Thank you so much to both of you for your support. If any of you feel like joining a cool Diablo 2 community, consider joining our Discord. We do giveaways and have fun together every day. The link is in the description of this video. Also, if you feel like becoming a member and supporting the channel, feel free to click the join button with any amount that you feel comfortable with. I will include your name in the special thanks at the end of every videos. Thank you very much for watching until the end and happy grinding.